Okay, imagine you're a tweak and you're sitting in your living room and a car pulls up. Cars pull up all the time and you hear this. How many people just got out of a vehicle? If you heard that, that was a car door slamming. One. Okay, now I don't know if you can hear this because I have a lapel mic on, but you're a tweak. You're sitting in the living room and then you hear this. That's 4 car doors slamming. How many people just got out of a vehicle? Think about that, and then let's talk about how not to let that happen. Okay, instead of letting somebody hear 1, 2, 3, 4, a lot of bounty hunters bounty hunt in pairs, which is, as I've said before, very dangerous. Again, we're going to cover that later in a separate SAP video, but here's what you do. When you get out of your vehicle, don't do this, because you're excited, okay? You're getting ready to knock on a door or something like that. What you want to try to do when you close the door is put it up like this, and it's closed. The tweak sitting in the living room doing whatever it is tweaks do probably isn't going to hear that. So, my name is Rex. This is the YouTube Special Access Program, or SAP channel, which augments the live class done by Bailspeak in California.
We don't stop. 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 Yeah. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Rex from the Special Access Program YouTube channel, also known as the SAP channel. Now, the SAP channel is to augment Bailspeak's live bail education classes in California. This is a California-specific video regarding the transportation of firearms for bounty hunters. Now, if you're a bounty hunter or bail agent or private investigator in another state, you follow those state laws. Today we're talking about California. Now, the thing about California is the laws are all over the place. Absolutely no glove boxes, no center consoles. Your ammo must be locked separately from your firearm for bounty hunting purposes. So, what happens in California for regular transportation is you have your firearm unloaded, magazine apart, away. I mean, this goes all over the place. Some people are going to tell you that you don't need to unload your magazines. Lawyers are going to tell you unload the magazines, and they're even going to recommend that you lock your magazines unloaded, separate from your firearm. So we're talking about bounty hunting here. So it's not like you're driving to the range, or you're going to a gunsmith, or you're going to go pick up your firearm, that type of thing, where you look like Joe Citizen cruising down the street. Now, in California, you're required to notify law enforcement no more than 6 hours before attempting a bail bond arrest. Because of that, law enforcement is going to know where you are, who you are, what you're driving, what your tag plates are, everything. So in other words, your exposure to law enforcement is highly, highly, highly raised. And if you're not doing the firearms properly, believe me, I've been tested on this, you may run into problems if you're not doing it proper. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it several steps above what is required by law, so that when you do have law enforcement contact and they do start asking you, hey, let's talk about firearms, you're going to be way ahead of the game. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, it's very, very important to understand that there are very few reasons why we can lawfully transport firearms in California. Like I said, going to the gun range, picking up a new firearm, also hunting. Now, what I cannot do is get into a 16-hour block of instruction on video regarding insurance code, Title 10, because that's where bounty hunting really starts. Now, there's probably 99.99% of the people in California that have anything to do with bail and bounty hunting that simply cannot explain how that works. I can think of 2 instructors that can explain how insurance code, and this is how to become a bail bond company owner, is actually where bounty hunting starts with respect to the lawful carry of firearms while you're trying to arrest a bail jumper. Now, here's how it works. We do not carry our firearms all day long. We do not carry our firearms driving all over the place, going from address to address to address. It's very, very specific in the laws how this works. Now, first off, it's got to be a lawful arrest. If it's not a lawful arrest, you're not lawfully carrying a firearm as a bounty hunter. Now, the lawful carry of a firearm as a bounty hunter is exposed. It is not concealed. Now, I've run into people saying, well, I'll just get my concealed weapons permit and I'll go ahead and use that for bounty hunting. Well, let's talk about that because that comes up a lot. Concealed weapons permits come from two sources, either a police chief or a sheriff. Now, the reasons why these are issued, and this is 99.9% of the time, is for personal protection. A lot of these permits are not for employment use, and some of them have stamped not for employment use. Also, seize this permit if the person is intoxicated. That's in case you're drinking and driving and you get pulled over and carrying a firearm, and that's just how it works. Now, the way that this works is we have to transport our firearms lawfully to begin with, but we're going to, like I said earlier, we're going to step it up. Now, the standard rule that law enforcement uses is the 3 steps. 3 steps. If you can put your firearm into action within 3 steps, you're wrong. As I indicated earlier, no glove box, no center console. You got to be very careful about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on and talk about how to get yourself so many steps away that you are way beyond what law enforcement is going to consider the unlawful transportation of a firearm. Now, the way that it works in California with respect to bounty hunting laws is we don't carry our firearms like security guards. This has nothing to do with the Department of Consumer Affairs, Bureau of Security Investigative Services. This is penal code. So the way that it works, and I can't get into a 16-hour block of instruction because the lawful carry of firearms actually begins at the how to become a bail bond agent level in terms of insurance code, Title 10 Code of Regulations, et cetera, et cetera. I am prior law enforcement, and what I can tell you is that there is a 3-step rule. If you could put that firearm into action within 3 steps, you're going to have a problem if you don't have a concealed weapons permit or your law enforcement. You know, like I said, lots of variables in California. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to be more than 3 steps away, and we're going to do this in such a way and manner there's absolutely positively no way you're going to get busted for the illegal transportation of a firearm. And if you do, call me collect. I'll get you out on the bail bondsman as well. Now, step number 1, I get out of the car. There's no firearm in here. It's in the trunk. Lock. Step number 1, I get out of the car. Okay, now, step number 2, a lot of bounty hunters drive vehicles where you have to key the trunk open. This vehicle, I can pop it from the inside. There's a button on the outside, et cetera, et cetera. So what's going to happen is step 1, open the door. Step 2, I've got to open the trunk. Okay, step 1, the door. Step 2, the trunk. Let me move my tack helmet and my blowout kit out of the way here. Now, if you don't use a blowout kit while you're bounty hunting, look into that. It's also called an IFAC. Separate video from earlier. Now, 1, the door, 2, the trunk. Now, for brevity, I've gone ahead and fixed these locks so I can go ahead and mimic that I am turning the combinations to open this here. Now, California law requires that your firearm be unloaded, no rounds, no nothing in terms of rounds and firearms being together, in a enclosed lock container, whatever that means. So, this is a canvas bag. You've got 2 zippers and you've got a lock. So we undo the combination and then we open this up. So that's 1, 2, unlocking this is 3. And then we come over here and we've got the same thing, which is going to be 4, unlock, open. But then it gets better. Then what we do is we open this combination lock where we have our firearm. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We come over here, open this one up, 6 ammo. Now, the way that this is going to work in terms of ammo, and a lot of people are going to tell you you don't have to do this, but lawyers are saying that you have to, and that is your magazines have to be unloaded too, so just carry your rounds. You can carry them loose inside the container that you have your magazines in, so that's going to have to be separate. Now, you do this just before attempting a lawful arrest. You don't run around like this all day long. This does not mean concealed, it means exposed. I just want to emphasize that. So now we got the door, 1, trunk, 2, 3 lock, 4 lock, 5 container, 6 container. Now you take the firearm out and then you have to load it and then you have to go ahead and charge, jack the round, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we are way past what's legally required for lawful transportation in California in terms of being more than 3 steps away. Now, we got the door, we got the trunk, we got the lock for the lock. We're pretty much squared away. So what happens now is, now that you have everything unlocked, and this is only while you're attempting a bail bond arrest, not all day long driving around because you got like skip files on you or whatever, okay? So I'm gonna use a red gun for this. So what happens is you take it out, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna point it at used body armor as a clearing barrel, a backstop, just in case there's an accidental discharge. What you don't want to do is pretend like you're at the range and lock it this way or do one of these things, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to point it here, we're going to clear it several times, then you can take the magazines, now that you've loaded your rounds into the magazines, put a magazine in, go ahead, lock it, make sure that the round has seated in the barrel. You're good to go. What you do now, because this is a replica of a Glock, is you can now holster your firearm. Once you've attempted the arrest and you're getting ready to move to a new location, maybe you developed a lead, maybe you missed, it's time to go home, whatever, what you're going to do is you're going to reverse the whole process before you travel. So what you're going to do with your loaded firearm is you're going to go ahead, drop the magazine, take the round out, double check it, make sure that it's clear, there's nothing in here. What you don't want to do also is drop a round in here by accident, because this is where you're going to store your firearm. So once you do that, you take your plastic baggie out, unload all the rounds, put them back in your magazine lock, and like I said, you're going to go ahead and you're just going to reverse the whole process. Oops, we'll keep that up. Reverse the whole process and put it away. Now, you can travel all geared up, just without the firearm in the magazines. On social media, we get teased from time to time for some of our team photos. This is called the belt grab. You'll see a lot of our team photos, we're all holding our belts. What a lot of people don't understand is the reason why we do that. A lot of our weapon retention, a lot of our personal defense starts from right here. Another video, you're gonna like it, you're gonna trip that this actually means something, okay? But anyways, not everybody, especially when you're brand new, can aim a firearm at a spare vest before you gear up. Now, one of the things that we do, because not everybody can right out of the gate afford expensive combination locks, bags. I have a lot of equipment. I've been in the business a long time. I've been a bounty hunter for over 2 decades, liability-free. I have been a bail bond company owner for over 20 years. I've been a California Department of Insurance approved bail education provider, instructor for over 10 years. I'm also an expert witness in the California Superior Court system. That's both state, and I've also done consulting work on a federal side. So I'm no stranger to bounty hunting. With that said, one of the alternatives, and alternative means from here, and then we move on to this in terms of instruction, is what we call the 26050 bag. Now, what this is a regular backpack, and it locks at the top. So door 1, trunk 2, here's 3. Then you have these plastic containers that can also be locked. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, same thing, 5. So now you're 5 steps removed from your firearm. If you count having to load magazines, if you count having to charge the weapon, you're getting into the 6, 7. The other method, 8, 9, it could really, really drag that out. I know it seems like a lot, but we're in California. So the cool thing about this is it also has and I have this in plastic because it's something that is sold on the store. This is a level 3A trauma plate. So what happens is you drop that in the backpack this way, and instead of aiming your firearm at used vest, you don't want to do it at your vest if you don't have to, is you could aim your firearm right here and use this as a makeshift clearing barrel. Charge, uncharge your weapon, load, unload, whatever you want to call it, because you have a level 3A panel in here. And this is a much, much more inexpensive way to go. So if you are lawfully buying in California, consider these things, okay? I'm trying to keep you out of trouble because, as I indicated, I am also an expert witness when it comes to bail and bounty hunting in the California Superior Court system, to the extent that if somebody is doing bail bond transactions or somebody is bounty hunting and they get in trouble and they fight it, sooner or later, there's a good chance it's going to come across my desk. Okay, my production assistant, camera lady, one of the Bailspeak ladies, just corrected me, and she's absolutely correct. I have not been a bounty hunter for 2 decades. I've been a bounty hunter for a quarter century, 25 plus years, not 20 plus years. With that said, I wanted to bring another thing up. And I've seen young bounty hunters who are in the training program, the street training program, do things like this. They'll take off their duty belt, they'll leave their firearm loaded in the duty belt, just as it is, just take it off, and then they'll put it in a backpack, go ahead and close it up, and throw it in the trunk. It's that it could never happen to me mentality. Now, I have knowledge of some people that were specifically trained not to do that, and they were not responding to training, meaning they got stopped and they caught a case more than once. I am not kidding about this, okay? If you want to get lazy and you want to just take off your duty belt with all your stuff on here, as you see here, of course you can get rid of your radio, taser, whatever, and just dump it in the bag and you get pulled over in light of everything that we just talked about. Is that lawful carry? And the answer is no.
Hi, this is Diane from Venator Group, Bailspeak's parent company. And I was talking with Aurora. Sometimes I cover the Bailspeak phones when the ladies have to run errands or vacations or sick. And I'm always fascinated at the number of calls that we get. Over 850 is what Aurora is telling me per week at Bailspeak alone, where one of the first sentences out of somebody's mouth is, the gun, when do I get the gun? Do I need this? What do we need? What do we need? It's important to mention that neither I or the Bailspeak ladies are able to answer those questions for you because we're not registered instructors with the state of California. At Bailspeak, we do things correctly, and we are not going to repeat things that we heard to try to make someone happy when that's not going to be lawfully safe for them. So the gun, when do I get the gun? After you take Bailspeak, you will understand, and after you go through all of these steps, you don't want the gun before that. Thanks so much. This is Diane with Venator Group.